Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
Welcome, everybody. Steve and I are back.
2 weeks in a row. We're like in the studio together.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get a whole show in this time.
Yeah, your hair grew. You say you got the haircut last time.
My mom,
discussing that.
My mom actually said, I don't like your haircut.
What?
She says it makes my face look too fat. And I'm like,
yeah, I think it makes you look younger.
I agree with that, mother. I think the same thing, because the hair that I had was covering the fat on it.
Right, Mom. It's the hair.
That's right. That's right. It's all it is the hair.
Yeah, I think it makes you look younger.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. See, I get a haircut too.
I am not.
High and tight, baby.
I am not a fan right now. I'm having a hard. The only thing I like about it.
Come on. Earlier this week when it was windy as heck, you had to enjoy not having the mop on top of your head.
Not arguing that at all. I mean, because I had the one hair comb over going on, that wind takes it right straight up and whatever. So I don't have to worry about that, but
kind of like a mullet.
Yeah.
Thing. Yeah.
I hated that. And it didn't matter how much product I put in my hair, it was still flying straight up anyway. So I do like that about it.
Aquanet? Did you try Aquanet?
Maybe hairnet would be what I would need.
It's the lunch lady.
All right, we've been talking a lot about holograms. I know you missed the show when Jim Silrum was in your stead, and we talked a little bit about the trip to London and seeing the ABBA concert, the holographic concert. And that was
ABBA still touring?
No, just in holographic form.
Just the holographic form.
I think they do the occasional show, but not really touring anymore. But the holographic show is incredible, absolutely incredible. Have you seen these? Now, these have been out for a few years, and I'm just going to flip this around so you can see the picture of this.
I did have a friend, by the way, that was in Vegas for the Eagles in the Sphere.
Oh, yeah. That would have been fun.
I saw some pictures from that. Unbelievable. What is?
So it's a box. It looks like it's like the size of a refrigerator.
It's bigger than a bread box.
Yeah. And weighs about 400 pounds. And
it's a refrigerator.
Because of there's a video screen in there. And because of the way they use shadows.
Refrigerators have video screens now.
They do, yes. That's interesting. We could maybe put the two together. It basically gives you, it looks like you are basically in the room that you're in. Or that you're projecting to. Like you could beam over. I could have this unit sit here in the studio, and it would look like you're standing there.
Okay.
In the box. It's like a holographic image of you.
All right, I'm having a whole Christmas Saturday Night Live thing going through my head, but no.
You are not here, though. Just so you know, this is not beaming you into the room. You are still over and wherever you're at.
So it's not like Willy Wonka?
It's like a video call.
No, it's like the little kid in Willy Wonka?
It's like a video call.
Oh, look, there he goes. But they have video calls now. Why is it so special?
Well, because when you see it.
Well, it's life size. Yeah.
It's life size, and it looks like you're there. I mean, it's that realistic.
Okay.
I mean, if your grandkids wanted to talk to the grandparents, for example, right, it would look like they are there, except that you can't hand presents directly.
Yeah, come here, Timmy. Give me a hug.
No hug.
That's not working.
Going on or whatever, but I suppose for meetings and things like that, it could be interesting.
Now, the one thing with that I did notice, because it's life size and it's the whole person in there, no more Zoom calls with no pants.
That is true. That is true. Yes. So it's called Proto. They started in 2018.
People actually have to get dressed for work again.
They've sold 1,000 of these units already, and they run anywhere from $29,000 to $65,000.
So what's the application, though?
Well, I mean, if you wanted
it's just a life-size video monitor.
Yeah, but if you wanted to if you're doing a presentation, for example, right, and you couldn't be there, then this would be an alternate way to address your team or whatever and make it look like you're truly, or almost truly like you're at the meeting.
I can buy a big flat panel and a camera for a lot less than that.
I understand you saying that, but you it really does look like you are there. I mean, that's truly what the big deal is with this. So I think that realism of having, like watching a holographic image of somebody, that's what it really is about. So I don't know.
Now, if you got rid of the box and it was more just the holographic image, I'd be a little more hyped about that.
Sure.
That'd be, because that would be a little more lifelike and maybe a little bit more interactive.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. So
I'm still, again, the premise of what we do here is technology in daily life.
Right.
And I just don't see the application. Is it cool? Yeah, sure.
I think that, I'm sure if you were to, if you're demoing something, like if you're showing somebody how to operate on somebody, if you're a doctor, for example, right, and you're teaching something that needs high quality visual, those are the things that I think this would shine in. So I'm sure there's applications for this. But the price point and the fact that you have to have this 400-pound refrigerator box, I think, deters what else is going on out there. I mean, when I can go watch an ABBA concert, for example, and that's a holographic concert, and they're just dancing all over a 200-foot wide stage in front of me.
Exactly.
I don't, that's millions and millions and millions of dollars of production, not just, this $29,000 setup. So I don't know.
Is it millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars of production now?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
For that show, of course it is.
Is it just a computer programmer? It was dropping stuff where it needs to be.
It was 6 months of them recording this concert in the full suits, the sensor suits, like you would a video game. This is how they did it. That's why it looks so real.
Cool.
That's why it looks so real, is because of the time it took. And those songs that you listen to, they actually sang those songs. This isn't like it was, like an Elvis Presley song sung 60 years ago. They sang those 20 songs in that concert. They also had a live band there.
Don't have the ability to go to an Elvis show because he's dead, or at least on some planet somewhere, if you believe the conspiracy theorists. But you could still go see an ABBA show if they were going to.
If they wanted to.
If they wanted to.
But this allows.
Because, that's kind of the nuance. Is like, why is Whitney cool? Because she's not around anymore, but we can get, or Prince, or Elvis, or that.
But do you want to see the 80-year-old ABBA show, or do you want to see the 35-year-olds singing and dancing and doing their thing?
I would rather see the live. Where are they? Tell you what, a couple of weeks ago at one of our casinos, we had Styx there. Knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Amazing show. They did a great job. I like that.
And you can still, there's nothing saying that you can't do that, but you're still alive and you can record these things. I mean, ABBA can perform this for the next however many hundreds of years if they want to. So they're, generations and generations can enjoy ABBA as they were remembered.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. Let's get back to discovering the latest in technology with the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
You said you had Dancing Queen running in your head.
I do now. It's funny because ABBA was huge in the 70s, and then in the 80s they were kind of a running joke, and then the 90s kind of waned, a little resurgence in the 2000s, and then people started to know the full story with ABBA, and oh my gosh, their manager got them invested into, it was kind of like in Forrest Gump where it's like, hey, I bought this fruit company. That was ABBA with their manager back in all this European investment stuff. They own mines and refineries and plants and things, and it's way more than just the music.
ABBA.
The
mac and cheese you've always wanted. ABBA.
Oh, that's funny.
ABBA. The shampoo. Rinse, lather, repeat. So then you could have Dancing Queen while you're shampooing your hair. Yeah.
Well, they'd probably have the headphones that are waterproof so you could listen to it in the shower. And, Yeah,
they've actually done.
They diversified like crazy.
Well, and even their entertainment side of things, right? I mean,
But that's an afterthought now.
They've had the movies, they've had the play,
musicals.
So all of that, right? And now they have this venue in London that's a I'm sure tens of millions of dollars to put this thing up. This studio or this venue that's I think seats like 3,000 or 3,500 people. And it's the end of a rail line, so you hop on the rail and you take it out there and watch it. I mean, it's incredible what they've created.
Money-making fools.
Best concert I've ever been to, and they weren't there. But this is the thing, and I think they'll get to this, but you can't take, like Whitney. I mean, I understand what you're talking about, Whitney and Michael Jackson's coming out and all these other things, but when you can't put these people in a bodysuit and get them dancing and singing and playing the piano and doing all this other stuff, these are out of your mind, Steve, onto a computer, and you're thinking that this is how Michael Jackson moved, or you're trying to emulate what you see on the screen. It is not the same as actually recording somebody. Why do you think that LeBron James, when he's in the 2025 NBA basketball game, the reason it looks and feels like LeBron James is because they brought LeBron into a studio and recorded him in these bodysuits, dunking the basketball, shooting free throws, doing layups, defense against other players. That's why it seems that way, and that's why ABBA works well, too.
You mentioned the ABBA. Hey, do you want to watch the 30-year-old ABBA versus they're in their 70s.
They're in their 70s,
now.
Yes.
ABBA, I'm like, I would lean towards the 70s ABBA because it's a real show, but I wonder they went through all that production and the bodysuits and they were doing the dancing and everything for the holographic images. If then at the end of it, they all just like, okay, now let's pitch it up so they're actually like a 30-year-old running around on stage. I have to ask.
Well, they're not popping around like even when their heydays, they weren't going crazy. They were always just kind of systematically moving across the stage and, walking to the beat and things like that. I mean, I don't remember ABBA going crazy, I guess.
So you would have been a great performer back in the day in that genre of music. You could have been the tambourine guy. The tambourine. They don't move. Sway a little bit, but they just play the tambourine.
I truly believed I would be cowbell.
Okay, you can be the whole percussionaire. Just stand in your spot, sway a little bit, tambourine.
I want
cowbell.
Christopher Walken out the backside.
More cowbell.
Here, more cowbell.
More cowbell.
Yeah,
everything's better with more cowbell.
He's never been able to live that down either.
No.
Right. Everywhere he goes, it's the craziest thing. I mean, of all the things he's done in his life, right? People will walk up to him in restaurants. I was listening to an interview one time, and all they'll say to him is, "Need more cowbell," and they'll just walk away. Would you get tired of that after a while?
No, because if as an artist, would you prefer to be known for a good, solid body of work that? Yep. Okay. When he's gone, hey, he was in some really good movies.
Yep.
Or would you rather be known for that one moment in time that is iconic and will never, ever become outdated for decades? Grandkids of grandkids will, it's like, need more cowbell. Oh yeah, that guy. Which would you rather be?
I don't know. That's a great question.
I bet if somebody asked him, he does not regret that because, hey, that lives on forever.
Yeah.
Because, when you're talking about artists and having a legacy, he's got an iconic one. That one and look where that pops up in other parts of pop culture and always will.
So do you think the day of, speaking of, since we're moving into this holographic thing and movies.
James Earl Jones?
Well, so kind of that, right? I mean, do you think that current actors are going to become less and less valuable because we'll be able to produce actors as we want through artificial or through AI or what have you? I mean, you can say, hey, I need a female lead, 36, with brown hair and blah, 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 right? And then I need a male character that's 42, wears glasses, blah, 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 right? And then these characters can be created just by typing text into a screen or talking to it. And now you don't need to have these. Do you need to have actors anymore? I don't know.
Leads, I think we're a way away from getting to that point. But when you're looking at extras and the backdrop and the fill-ins, and I think we're already there. I would be hard-pressed to look at a movie and not question whether or not it's like, gee, are all those people in the background, are those real, or were they extras, or are they just, I don't know. And that's why the whole SAG.
Yeah, and I don't know. They may have won.
They went on strike for a reason.
Yeah, they may have won a little bit there.
Yeah.
But the writing is on the wall. Yeah. No pun intended.
Well, I have a friend whose wife was an extra, and he's told me story after it. For her to get in her vehicle, drive across town, go sit around being an extra, getting paid just to be in a movie, it cost them money for her to be an extra.
I can believe that.
There was no financial. No, not at all.
It's about adding to your resume maybe a little bit or something. That's about it. So I agree with that. I just think that and then this is the other thing, is that you're not just competing against the current acting crowd. You're competing against everybody that came before you.
Anybody who's ever acted.
Anybody who's ever acted. So if they need anybody, a young George Clooney, for example, they can just make that person.
And we're back. Don't miss a minute of the Tech Ranch as we explore the cutting edge of tech with Marlo and Steve. For more exclusive content, visit thetechranch.com.
And speaking of AI,
is it live or is it Memorex?
You know, I was speaking at the AI conference last week, and I had never shared this story with anybody before, but since I've shared it now, I guess I can share it out there a little bit more. So I'm talking about, AI, and I know you know the story about my mom, with Alexa about 2 years ago, and maybe I should share that again. But it's kind of I could tell I was having a hard time even telling the story. I've never really said much about it in public like that, And then after that, I said, and a week later, I'm speaking at this small town gathering and in western North Dakota, and this couple comes up to me afterwards, and this is before ChatGPT became a thing. I was talking about how artificial intelligence is going to change our work routines and you'll be able to come in and communicate and that type of thing.
I remember the conversation we had way back when the show started.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And anyway, this younger couple from there, obviously on the ranch, and they're like, tell me again how the impregnatation of my cows will help make my workflow more efficient.
Huh?
And then, AI. Artificial insemination. They sat the whole hour trying to figure out how AI is going to improve their workflows and all of this stuff, and they just couldn't figure it out.
Well, you might be able to get rid of that glove that goes up to your shoulder.
I started laughing so hard, but I get it. I mean, you've grown up with this, and when you say the word or the AI scenario, that's what you've heard for your entire life.
You realize I cannot get that out of my head now.
It's hilarious, isn't it?
I can't.
Yeah. How is this supposed to improve our workflows by impregnating our cows again? I don't understand how this is supposed to work. It's so funny. So funny.
So, what did they say after you explained it to them?
Well, then they felt like idiots. Of course, when I was saying that the I is for intelligence, not insemination. And they were just like, oh.
Well, that was a day we just killed.
But But I probably once I never once in the entire conversation even said artificial intelligence. I just said AI the entire time. So since then,
hey, just to qualify, when the conversations about AI first popped up,
yeah,
it's the first place I went.
Of course, we live in a rural part of the world. Why would we not
insemination?
Think that? Why would we not think that?
Yeah,
we grew up around this. So, and that's still used to this day. You just have to clarify if it's for what you're actually.
So when you roll into your vat, you might want to explain which AI it is.
That's correct. Am I using AI for AI today, or am I still manually doing this? That will be the question in the future. Yeah, funny stuff, right?
Oh, that is just too funny.
So anyway, on the AI side,
the artificial intelligence.
Yes. Thank you. There was so much stuff. I just don't, it is hard to grasp what has happened since ChatGPT first came out. I mean, when you think about this, and you and I think we had like 2 days after it came out, you and I started talking about what this is going to do. And it's amazing. It's not even 2 years.
Every show we did was for leaps and bounds. And it's like, and week to week, it was leaps and bounds.
It was 6 months of this. We finally had to just say, we're doing a show and we're not going to mention AI at all. And it was even
the intelligence side.
Yeah, the intelligence side. Yeah. And Steve and I have to have artificial intelligence because we're not smart enough to actually host this show. So we need to
I might be able to host a show for us in the near future.
We've actually proven that once or twice already. And now with the new.
Yeah, the worst part was when the voice part goes, it's like, yeah, I'll do a better job than you. Please go away, let me do it.
It was so funny. I think that one time, remember, we said you have 8 minutes to do the segment, and
go. All right.
He literally at the 8-minute mark was done.
Yeah,
like it was interviewing you and I, and boom, and we're just like, what are we even here for anymore?
Yeah.
Except
are we here now?
That's a questionable thing.
Do the listeners know if we're really here, or is it?
It could have been like if we're here or Memorex in the past.
Right.
But now there's a third option, and that is: are we here? Are we recorded? Or are these our AI clones doing the show for us now? My AI voice is pretty spot on.
It is.
So
I haven't listened to mine for a while.
We should get you in the studio and record, and then put you through our system once, and then we can just give Chat GPT our topics, and then you and I just can go home.
Oh, I just had a brilliant idea. You know how many brownie points I could make with my wife? Hey, compose a bunch of love letters, leave her a voicemail at work every day. Oh. Major brownie, but she wouldn't even know it was me.
That's true. She might think that Bob will.
No, Marlo, don't go in and change the software after the fact.
After 2.5 months, Bob starts sending flowers to her. I think I like this Bob character more than I like Steve. Wow.
Well, I didn't set the bar too high.
Oh, my goodness.
Like Eastwood always says, one's got to know one's limitations.
That's true. That is true. What are we talking about again? AI, right?
Yeah.
We're like, oh, my goodness. Yeah, so I mean, it's really come a long ways. The notebook LM thing with Google right now is just blowing my mind.
You've had a chance to play with that.
A little bit. I mean, I've done a couple of little podcasty things out of it. You can upload like an entire book.
So Chris and I went through a little bit of that last week.
Yeah.
He was having some trouble getting it loaded because he's got a program that's like a little bit ahead of what's out there right now, and he was kind of showing me some nuances around it. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's amazing what's possible with Notebook. I mean, like I said, you can upload an entire book. You can upload your 900-page whatever. I actually uploaded the 2025 project that President Trump always gets
blamed for
or linked to or whatever. And we were talking about this coffee, and I actually uploaded it and then ran it as a podcast and ran it at this conference, as a matter of fact. And they're just like, what? This is crazy.
Basically, you can run it like Cliff Notes.
So
you synopsize.
Well, it'll create this podcast called Deep Dive, and deep dives into it and tries to do it in a way that people can understand the harder issues maybe in the paper.
Thanks for staying with us on the Tech Ranch. Let's rejoin Marlo and Steve as they guide us through the fascinating world of technology.
So anyway, this Notebook LM. So if you have a paid...
What's the LM stand for?
I'm sure language model.
Okay.
Usually...
Just asking.
LLM is large language model. There's SLM.
Clarify AI. So.
Yeah, small language models. So there's a variety of them, but this ability to just take entire works of whatever... I mean, it would be interesting to upload Volume A of World Book Encyclopedia and then have it to a...
I was thinking like War and Peace or
that'd
some
be
of
fun
these
too,
massive novels that you were supposed to read in high school or college.
And I wonder like if you were, if you could type in there, this would be interesting actually, if you could type in there that you're the main character of the story and I want you to be the main character of the story as you describe the story to me as in the podcast, right?
So in first person.
Yes. Wouldn't that be fun? I don't know if that's possible, but I'm sure it will be sometime in the future.
That would be.
No.
Okay, I'm thinking of the different applications here. It's like interjecting yourself into a story. And now take that even further. So a book or a movie or a sitcom or how cool. You talk about the future of entertainment and interactive. It's like, hey, I get to be my own character in Frasier.
Yes. Oh, yeah, there you go. That's interesting, right? And the thing that I thought about, too, is this deep dive scenario. Like, you could take anything that, maybe you have a slight fascination for. So let's say it's this Project 2025 thing. You hear it all over the place in the media all the time. But does anybody really know what it means?
No, it's made up.
Who's going to read, and then who's going to read the 900-page?
It's like Obama. We got to pass it so we know what's in it.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
So there's that, right?
So this application, if I could think of it from a political perspective, because we hear that from politicians, and they don't have time to read everything. They've got staffers that do different things. It's
they'll say yay or nay.
But they could.
Yeah.
They could actually be informed before they vote on something.
That's correct. So you could take this 900-page document, create an audio file that's 12 minutes long, and they could listen to it on the way on the subway going to the Capitol or in the cab or however they're getting there, right? Or their limo drivers, which I'm sure is most of them. But you know what I mean is that you could actually have maybe the most unbiased opinion towards something. I'm not saying that Notebook LM is not biased because I believe it is, but it's probably better than maybe somebody, you have 82 people trying to get your ear at any given time on any particular thing. They all have their own agendas. So this probably would help you with that a little bit.
I can see a lot of different applications.
Oh my goodness.
Just from what Chris was showing me to where it could go.
I think just the fact of just these crazy large documents, I don't mean to overemphasize this.
Well, even simplify to somebody who's buying a house.
Oh my goodness.
And you have to, it's here. I can't feel my wrist anymore because you just signed 8,000 pages, initial here, initial. Nobody reads those.
No, but you could. You could upload all of this and say, hey, I'm buying this house. Is there anything in here? Because you couldn't do this in
10 minutes. Let me know.
In ChatGPT, you could not do this because there's too much. They will not allow you in one document to upload this 200,000 word thing, right? Because that's what these house contracts are now. You could, however, upload it in a Notebook LM and then ask it, I am the buyer of this house. Is there anything in here that I should maybe pay more attention to? And it'll pop back and say, well, yeah, there's a clause in here that says that there's some damage to the foundation that's hidden on page 42, section 8, blah, 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 and they're not going to take care of that for you.
Yep, and when you initial it, you just signed off on it.
That's correct. I'm just making this up.
But that would be a practical application that, hey, if I get a mortgage lender or my banker or whoever I'm working with or that's important.
I will tell you.
That's a big investment for somebody.
Every legal document that comes across my desk, I drop into ChatGPT now.
Do you really?
I do. And I ask it before I just blatantly sign stuff, because most of it's just standardized stuff like an NDA or whatever. I mean, these things are just pretty much standard.
ChatGPT can read crayon?
Yes, it can. And I know this because my 4-year-old grandson sent me a document saying,
really?
I put it in there, and ChatGPT said, well, this looks like it was a 4-year-old that wrote this in crayon.
And it wasn't you this time, Marlo.
That's right. But yeah, I drop all that stuff into ChatGPT, and then
So why wouldn't you? Okay, so you drop those into ChatGPT.
Right.
Do you plan on dropping them into Notebook rather than ChatGPT? What's the difference? What's the nuance?
That's a great question, and I haven't played enough with Notebook LM to understand that. And Notebook LM really isn't, I don't think it's designed to be like the overall thinking.
It's not like a legal, binding, knowledgeable.
I think it's really designed for those huge, huge documents that you can upload, and then, hey, give me a summary, give me a study lesson, or a planning lesson, or whatever it is that you want to do out of it. Because if you're a teacher, for example.
And they were worried about ChatGPT. Oh, good Lord.
If you're a teacher, for example, and you want to give me a book that you might read in high school.
War and Peace.
Okay, so.
I actually know. In Cold Blood, Truman Capote's been in the news lately.
Okay. In True Blood, then. So you upload, thank you, in Cold Blood. So you upload this into Notebook LM, and then you ask it for a 1-hour class lesson on this, and it will create it for you as you just watch. It'll go boom, 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 and there you go. You can hand out to your students to find out if they read the book, and there you go. And
did they really read the book?
And your job as a teacher just become greatly more simplified. And the other thing is that this is what is exciting to me about this, right? There probably isn't a lesson plan for many, many thousands of books out there, right? So a teacher would have to, go through these books and then create their own lesson plans, right? The ability to actually teach about something that might not have a lesson plan that gets sent out by some conglomerate that's trying to teach our children has been greatly expanded, I guess you could say.
So take a look at our state. That's rural state, and teachers are one of the many workforce shortages that we have. Is this a solution or a replacement, or can you get by increasing current teachers' workloads with I'm trying to figure out how this technology piece fits into what we're currently dealing with.
So first of all, I would say yes to the workload piece. So I don't know many teachers who don't put in maybe more hours than they probably should during the school year, right? I mean, they probably get paid for 8 and they work 10, 11, 12 hours because they go home with stuff that they got to grade and all this other stuff. So, and we'll get into all of this, when we come back from the break, but even the grading of papers and things can be greatly sped up.
If you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology. The Tech Ranch.
We create all the fun in Mandan.
You do. Well, actually, one of the big things you guys share the holiday lights at Dyke Shorn Park. That was kind of cool.
It was. It was a very, very cool season, cool year, and we had just about 50,000 people come through this year.
Wow!
So it was a very big success.
The reason I wanted to talk to you about it because it's not just a Christmas lights display. There's an interactive aspect to it.
Oh yeah. The whole design of it originally, when we designed it last year for its inaugural year, was really about taking that holiday lights experience, and where majority of people are driving around taking in lights from their vehicle, we really wanted to kind of take it up the notch and make it a walk around. And a lot of people here were, when we first brought up the idea, were like, oh, it's too cold for that. No one's going to want to do that.
Well, it wasn't this year. This year was okay.
This year was great. But even last year, last year we dealt with every bit of weather we possibly could have, from blizzards to unseasonably cold weather. And people were still out. People still enjoyed it. And
I may have driven by last year and saw you actually shoveling out some of the display.
I was, yeah. I didn't take that into account the first year. As to, these put these big displays and then you go, oh wait, we got to shovel around them. It was really good. And this year it just with the weather the way it was, and it was nicer, more mild, people just came out in droves to come and check it out and do the whole walkthrough experience and really get, photos with all the different displays, hanging out around the fire pit, enjoying hot chocolate, listening to the music. So we really tackled all the senses out there.
Tell us a little bit about the interactive side, because, a little different in the fact that, you wanted it to be a walk around, but just walking by a bunch of lights, that really wasn't what you were after. You were after more of, okay, how do people participate? Get your Christmas card taken, be part of the decorations, be part of the light show, be part of the park.
Yeah, the model that we use, I've spent quite a few years in the Halloween world, as we've talked about on the show before, and
not because he's a scary guy.
No, not because I'm scary. I like to scare people. But by spending time in there, the Halloween haunted house industry really got it when it came to designing immersive experiences. And that goes back decades upon decades. The haunted house kind of method of putting people in an environment that plays with all of the senses, but creates a over-the-top experience that really hits that memory core and creates those memories, creates those opportunities to really think back on, oh God, it scared me. I was, and then they want to come back again. It creates that traditional atmosphere.
Well, and the good interactive ones, it's not about, hey, I can walk through this 100 times, but I'm going to get scared every time, because the interactive side of that is, because I remember when I was little, you'd walk through a haunted house and it would be a bunch of static displays. Mm-hmm. And then it started to change when it got really interactive, because who's going to jump out at you? Who's going to grab you? Who's going to, some of the things that weren't prepared for as you're walking into a room and all of a sudden display is thing. It's alive. That's a different level when you're talking being interactive when it comes to any sort of a holiday display. But Halloween really got it right.
Yeah, Halloween really got it right. I mean, Halloween got that atmosphere right. They also got, the other thing they got is they got it right building on theme. And the industry really took it from the theme parks and Disney World and things like that, where you had these big parks that were really playing on character themes. Disney World, it plays on all of their different movies and sets, and everything's themed around those things.
Supertalk 1270.
Welcome to October 5th on the National Day calendar. Today we're getting our groove on and enjoying a classic, comforting drink.
Let's start with Get Funky Day, a day to break away from the monotony and add some fun to our lives. One person who truly embraced the spirit of funk was the legendary musician James Brown. Known as the godfather of soul, Brown's energetic performance and unique style revolutionized music and dance. His influence can be felt across genres, and his legacy reminds us to infuse a little funk into our daily lives. Whether it's through music, dance, or just a playful attitude, let's get funky today.
Get up off of that thing and dance to do you better. Get up off of that thing and dance to do. Sing it now. Get up off of that thing.
I love James Brown.
Get on up. Get on up. You're a machine. Get on up.
That's pretty good.
Come on, Marlo, get up and dance. Get up.
I don't have the proper coat.
I'll go find one and put it over your shoulder.
Fantastic. Now let's turn to a dessert that warms the heart, Apple Betty. This old-fashioned treat, also known as Apple Brown Betty, has been a favorite in American kitchens for centuries. The dish dates back to colonial times and is often said to be named after a kindly cook named Betty who made the dessert famous through her delicious recipe. Made from layers of spiced apples and buttery breadcrumbs or oats, it's a simple yet delectable dish that brings the essence of fall to your table. So whip up this timely dessert and savor every bite, because today is Apple Betty Day.
Do you know how to cook Apple Betty?
I'm going to get up on it and cook me some Apple Betty. I don't know where that came from, quite frankly.
I see how you're celebrating today.
I guess James Brown has just infused himself into me here.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm LaToya Johnson.
I'm Marlo Anderson.
Thank you for joining us on our journey to celebrate every day.
And join us for all of our adventures on Facebook and Instagram at Destination Celebration Show. Until next time, keep celebrating.
From America's #1 travel radio show, this is your RM World Travel Minute. I'm Mary Carey. Thanks for joining me. Aloha and happy Friday from Maui, where Robert and I have spent the week on our latest big Let's Go America Tour, Maui 2024. Our stay at the Hilton Grand Vacations Maui Bay Villas has provided ocean views, wonderful service, gorgeous pools, all surrounded by the stunning backdrop of Haleakala, the island's dormant shield volcano. It's been a great week here on Maui, from exploring farmers markets, touring a vineyard, walking through a tropical paradise, in a family-owned botanical garden, to hiking and swimming. This truly is a special place. The Aloha spirit is alive and well, and we've enjoyed meeting all kinds of locals over the week who are happy to welcome travelers to the island. We'll showcase the upcountry area, and we'll get a look at the famous humpback whales, as well as hear from our Maui-based affiliate station owners of KAOI Radio, and we'll talk with the current director of the Maui Food Bank. All this and more when you tune in tomorrow starting at 10 a.m. Eastern on this station or via the live stream at rmworldtravel.com. And until the next time, everyone, happy travels, everyone.
Supertalk 1270. KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a town square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union Studio.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Crowds are beginning to gather in Butler, Pennsylvania for today's Trump rally, the former president returning to the site of July's assassination attempt. Supporters ahead of the event say they felt compelled to come.
We're here to support him and try to protect them.
It's historic, and I wanted to be here to support my president.
Election day now a month away. Vice President Kamala Harris is in North Carolina. She's visiting communities ravaged by Hurricane Helene. At least 220 are dead across 6 states. New troubles for Florida following Helene. Tropical storm Milton has formed and churning in the Gulf of Mexico. The storm expected to intensify into a hurricane and could hit Florida next week. Israeli forces carried out fresh airstrikes in Beirut today, continuing to target Hezbollah sites. More than 1 million Lebanese have been displaced in recent weeks. Monday also marks 1 year since the Hamas attacks in Israel. This is ABC News. Severe heat keeping its grip in the West. Residents could get a break, though, from those triple-digit temperatures later next week. The heat wave, though, moving into the Rockies. The National Football League under pressure for years about safety precautions for its players, now touting improvements that have led to fewer head injuries.
The NFL says rule changes and equipment changes are behind the 24% drop in concussions during the preseason. The 44 reported the fewest since the league began keeping track in 2015. The equipment changes include the Guardian cap, a soft pad worn over a helmet, mandatory in practice for some position groups. The rule change affects kickoffs. The league says there were some concussions, but fewer injuries overall, stemming from what's considered football's most violent play. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Authorities in Congo began administering Mpox vaccines today, nearly 2 months after the outbreak began there. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. You can find Active Liver at Amazon.com, or for a volume discount, visit NewNordicUSA.com. Go to NewNordicUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New year, new you, new
Supertalk 1270, Bismarck area weather.
With your forecast, I'm Corey Hartman. A high wind warning today. Also high fire danger. Winds will gust over 45 miles per hour out of the west. We'll have mostly sunny skies with a high near 68. For tonight, mostly clear and windy, a low of 38, sunny and 63 Sunday. Grandpa's barbecue sauce is perfect for grilling any time of the year. Pick it up at grandpa'sbbqshop.com. Right now, it's 65.
From ABC Sports, I'm Joey Waller. Right now, first of 4 baseball divisional series openers today. Bottom 3, Guardians out 5-0 on the Tigers. A 5-run first off Tyler Holton, who's now out. Lane Thomas, a 3-run homer that inning. Tanner Beebe on the mound for Cleveland. Padres-Dodgers tonight. A huge blow for San Diego. Starter Joe Musgrove needs season-ending Tommy John surgery. Manager Mike Schilt reacting.
Replacing Joe Musgrove is a tall order. The good news is we do have people that we trust, and we have a deep pitching group, as we know. But Joe is Joe. I mean, he's a presence, physical presence.
Cowboys receiver Brandon Cooks to injured reserve with a knee injury, out the next 4 games. College football right now. These games in the third. Penn State a 17-3 bulge on UCLA. Texas A&M busting Missouri 31-0. It's SMU with a 24-13 lead at Louisville. Wisconsin in front of Purdue 28-6. Boston College leads at Virginia 14-6. Pitt at North Carolina, even at 17. Wake Forest a 17-16 lead at NC State. Wolfpack quarterback Grayson McCall hitting the head, carted off. Navy up 21-7 at Air Force, and Army with a 35-7 advantage at Tulsa. Earlier, at HL season opening Global Series, Devils sweep 2 against the Sabres of the Czech Republic.
Randy Russell, a nice pass from Jack Hughes to Jesper Bratt, who moves in, moves behind the net, tries to wrap it around. The puck comes to Meyer, and he scores. What an individual effort, and the Devils lead 3-1.
Timo Meyer, that third period insurance goal. Devils radio during their 3-1 win. WNBA semis last night. 2-time defending champ Aces beat the Liberty 95-81, moving within 2-1 of that best of 3. Lynx winning Connecticut 90-81. Minnesota up 2-1 there. Joey Waller, ABC Sports.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Meet Brian. He just got $5,000, and it was pretty easy. I'll tell you how in 10 seconds. Brian needed cash help. After being rejected by banks, he tried 27cash.com. Told them how much he needed, even let them know he had bad credit. In minutes, 27cash.com found a lender who deposited $5,000 into his bank account the very next day. If you need cash help, even if you have bad credit, go to 27cash.com. 27
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We need cash help.
We should go to 57cash.com.
With our bad credit?
57cash.com helps all credit types. They partner with over 100 lenders to help even people with bad credit get approved for up to $10,000. And cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
Wow. When you need cash help, go to 57cash.com. 57cash.com.
Don't miss a minute of the Sean Hannity Show.
I know that there is a segment of society that would love a perpetual shutdown, and I guess we could live in a bubble, but who's going to build the bubble if everybody shuts down?
Weekday afternoon starting at 2 on Supertalk 1270.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
So I guess we're going to do a deep dive into teachers, but I want to give you kind of an analogy maybe of what AI can do for you, right? So
now we started out with the Notebook LM.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT went from there. Now Notebook's the latest one, but we're just barely on the tip of the spear when it comes to AI and where it can simplify and enhance lives, professions,
all of it, right?
All of it. And we're just starting.
And I want to give everybody a real world example that most people probably have experience, and that is taxes. So one could argue that having the inflated tax code that we have in this country, which is 20,000 pages now or some crazy thing, right?
So did you already put the tax code into ChatGPT and go find me every loophole I can get?
Well, so I haven't done that, but these online services have, right? When you are on whatever tax service that you're doing your taxes in right now, it just asks you questions, or maybe you even just take pictures of your W-2 or your 1099s or whatever, and it extracts the information from those, right? And that's how it works. And then it says, oh, this goes into here, and here, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden in 10 minutes, you have your taxes done. And you're like, how is this even possible that I can get it done this fast? So then does it matter anymore if the tax code is 20,000 pages, 30,000 pages or whatever, because AI will sift through that and may still make the best possible case for you, right? So I'm using that as a real world example.
The biggest question, though, is, and this is the nuance with a person, the person is going to know the questions to ask you back.
Right.
Okay, so I know you bought a new vehicle. Was that for work? Are you doing, what's the mileage?
But you don't think the AI can do that too?
It could, but would it on its own? Because we always have talked about, like with ChatGPT, you have to know the right questions to ask.
Right.
Is that a little bit of a leap of faith, hoping that it's going to ask the right questions the other direction?
So I get that, and I'm not going to drop my accountant anytime soon.
I'm sure your accountant's happy to hear that.
Yes, but I'm hopeful that my accountant is using these technologies so as the tax code gets more and more difficult, that my accountant or the accounting firm is utilizing, and I'm sure they are, AI to make their job easier, be more accurate with the things that they do, because it's complicated. It changes so fast. The government itself doesn't get the stuff out to us quick enough anymore. They talk about, this last year, for example, there was stuff that wasn't even decided until after the tax season was over with. What are we supposed to do? Go out and file extensions so that we can wait for the government to catch up with us? But yet it's illegal for us not to get our 1099s out to everybody by the end of January. It's a ridiculous scenario. But AI helps with all of this.
Okay, so my question then let's go to the government side.
Yes.
So in lieu of hiring 85,000 IRS agents, computer program?
I would see that happening. Absolutely. I also see, although I don't expect this to happen, but...
so now you got computer programs checking on computer programs.
I think we're
losing the human factor here.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that you have to be a little concerned about some of this, but there are certainly efficiencies that we'll get back to teaching in a second. I guarantee everybody we will do that. But there are efficiencies, right? I know that in the city of Mandan, for example, I was talking with our current mayor here not too long ago and talking about what are you guys doing with AI? How are you implementing it? How are you making our city better with this? And he's like, I don't know. He goes, I know that somebody gave me a little blurb to say at the beginning of welcome to the city or whatever it was, or this to this event. And he goes, and I know that was created in AI because I asked for it and 10 minutes later I had it. So those things are being utilized, which is great. But what's the greater thing here, right? I mean, are you able to drop your entire city budget into AI and ask it, where in here can I get better efficiency? Is there something that, are we paying double for this? Are we, are we using Fetcher.ai, for example, to find, instead of spending, $800 for a collar to fix water leaks, that there's another company out there that sells them for $350, the exact same thing. I mean, these are the things that AI can do for a city, for example. And then, because the cities have workflow or work shortages as well. There's enough people to mow the grass in a town. There's not enough people to fix water breaks when they happen. I mean, all this stuff is problems, right? I mean, you dealt with this.
Oh, I dealt with it firsthand.
Yeah.
Still do to a certain degree.
Yeah, as a county commissioner.
But now you got me thinking, it's like, and I know both on the city portion and now as a county representative, the languish that goes into balancing and reducing taxes and managing the budgets. You got me thinking now.
You should be. You should absolutely be thinking about this. I do this every day now, Steve. I literally drop stuff into AI. I ask it about what the recipe is for Cheetos.
Uh-huh.
Seeing if I can improve on it. How are those?
Well, there were no TGI Friday tater skins. I'm glad to see the Cheetos are back, but I kind of miss the tater skins. I'm saying.
They are crunchy. There's no doubt about it. They sound like they're good and fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there's no reason that you can't use AI at least as a third party, like oversight scenario, right? Drop the entire budget in there and see what it can find. Ask it the questions.
Find me efficiencies.
Yeah. And you can say, all right, I'm going to give you the 2025 budget for Burleigh County, North Dakota, right? And first of all, can you just analyze this for me and then, give me a summary of like what the costs are? How much am I spending on roads? How much am I spending on this? And give me the true cost. I don't want to know just what this, you can just.
That's one of the things we have to budget for is inflation.
Yeah. You can ask it anything.
Huh. Now you got me thinking.
So you need to figure out a way to get another fire station in the county someplace, and you don't know where the money could come from. You could ask like a ChatGPT to say, this is our budget. This is a priority for the county. We just don't know where to pull the money from. And it would come back and we need $1.5 million to build this fire station. I don't know where we can get the money from. But it's a number one priority for us. Where can we pull money from to make this happen? And it would give you ideas. Things that you probably never thought of before. And that's what I love about it.
Oh, I have a lot of ideas going on right now.
Oh, I bet you do. All of them about boating too, I'm sure.
Thanks for staying with us on the Tech Ranch. Let's rejoin Marlo and Steve as they guide us through the fascinating world of technology.
So AI is really designed, and welcome back, everybody. Guess we don't say that enough. I just jump into the conversation all the time. But this is a good conversation.
We are going to get to teachers.
Because it's good because you're letting me talk for a change. Usually,
what?
But I'm just giving you a bad time. But But I can see how fascinated you are about this because you're thinking in your head, like, what in the world could I do? And everybody.
Well, and I'm looking at it from a public service perspective I'm wearing my elected hat now. And I'm like, and I'm always trying to figure out, okay, how do you save taxpayer dollars? Because it's not our money we're playing with.
Yeah.
How do you be more efficient? How do you provide the services that you need to provide and do in the most cost effective way? It's like,
so do you have
AI?
AI will help.
I'm going to talk to our finance director as soon as we get done with the program.
I think you need to think more broad than that, though, right? I mean, I bet you there isn't a person on the payroll in the county that won't benefit from AI. You know, you have somebody who handles communications, right? So that person, you know, can help streamline the email flow that comes in. And the thing you have to think about with AI is, what is it that's a routine for you? What is it that you do every day, every week, every month that I could potentially streamline? And then you can create a template to help you with that. And the best example I can give you is National Day. So every month I have to go through and I have to pick out what national days we're going to record for television and for radio. And I used to go through these and I would look at the list and then I would hand type them into a document, right? These are the things that we're going to do. As you know, I'm not the world's greatest typer. This would take me hours every month to do.
And then you also go back and look. It's like, okay, well, we did that one last year, so we can't do that one again this year.
Well, I don't know if I worry about that because
there's
so
enough
much.
days.
There is.
They should rotate.
Yes. So, but you're right about.
But that's something that you're not thinking about cognitively, but the program could.
So that's correct. So I created a window in ChatGPT strictly for this routine. Okay. And now what I do is I just open up a microphone to ChatGPT and I go through October 1st, October 2nd, October 3rd. I give it a hot word so it knows when I'm done speaking. So that gives me, because right now what happens with ChatGPT is it assumes you're done talking if you pause for like a second while you're thinking about something, and then it'll start blurping things back at you.
And we as Midwesterners pause.
We do.
When we speak.
That's correct. So I give it a hot word like Howard, and I'll tell ChatGPT that I'll say the word Howard. And when I say the word Howard, that means that I'm done talking. But until I say that word, I haven't finished speaking. It'll come back and say, okay, when you say the word Howard, then that's when I'll come back and visit with you some more.
Howard. Hey, it worked. No, we're live. We're here. We're not AI. We're here.
So then I'll open up November 2024. I'll go, I'll just say November 1st. Blah, blah, blah day, blah, blah, blah day. November 2nd, I'll review the 8 or 10 or 3 or whatever's on that particular day, and I'll say the blah, blah, blah day, blah, blah, blah day. And then at the end, I'll say, all right, organize all of these into a list that I can give to the team. It's 15 minutes a month instead of the hours it used to take me, simply because I let AI do this work for me. So you can take things that you do in your life that you have to do, again, on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and get rid of it or just chop it down dramatically. And there are so many places that you can use this to improve efficiencies in your life. I'm using that as an example. Wendy. So getting back to teaching, right?
Oh, right.
Okay. So this is what I would do. I'm assuming she corrects papers. Yeah.
Well, so no, but she does a bunch of other stuff. She's a speech pathologist in the school district and works with special ed. She works with Right Track and Early Intervention.
That's right.
And she winds up having a lot of paperwork at home. So it's not uncommon Monday through Friday, by the time she gets done writing evaluations and screenings and different reports, it's 9:30, sometimes 10 o'clock at night. So
does she type a lot of these evaluations?
Yes, she types them all.
So this is what I would do. I'm assuming that there's a form that she's evaluating. Yep. Okay. I would take a picture of it. Or maybe it's already a PDF that she's getting, right?
It is
okay.
A PDF.
So I would upload it into ChatGPT. I would, it's not as easy on the computer as it is on the phone to speak to ChatGPT. But you can figure that out too. But you can just upload it into ChatGPT, and then you have your phone in front of you. You hit the speaker icon, And then you start talking to it, and you ask it, you tell it, I need to make an evaluation of this memo, and this is my evaluation of it. And then you, instead of typing it in and thinking out or whatever, you just tell it what you think. You don't even have to think about how you're going to word this. This is my evaluation. I think there should be 10 of them instead of 12 because the coverage will be much better and blah, 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 blah. Okay. And at the end of it, it'll organize your thoughts. And then as you're speaking, you can also say, I would like this to be in my voice, not in yours. And it'll evaluate as you're talking, like, what is Wendy's voice? How would she type this out? And then it will type it out in a way that would be familiar to her, not in a ChatGPT sense. I have a window, for example, that's called All Things Marlo. And this is what I've trained it for. I've put things in there that I've written. And I've told it a few stories. So it understands how I talk. And then I will say, all right, I need to respond to this email, copy and paste it in the email. I want to say yes to this, but I want it to be in my voice. And boom, there it is. I copy and paste it back and send it out.
Wow.
Just using this as an example. So I'm telling you, I mean, my goal, I know the people around here don't understand this or they don't believe me when I tell them this, but I'm trying to get all of my projects into an 8-hour day. I'm getting pretty good at it though, Steve, actually. And it's because of AI that I get all this stuff done.
Well, I know it gives you the ability to multitask greatly. So
I hate that word. I'm just trying to read it.
I know, but your productivity has gone up because you can do many things at the same time now where you couldn't before. Something needed your attention.
Yep.
And that's one of the benefits of AI is you can spread that out.
Yep. Or at least you get through things a lot quicker. Mm-hmm. So then you can get on to other things that might be more pressing or whatever. So
I'm guessing teachers could, I
mean, if you're a teacher that grades papers, for example, every night, right? If you have the original paper and so you would copy that and paste that into ChatGPT with the right answers, right? So maybe it's a PDF, a teacher guide that you get with all the right answers in it. And then you just scan them or take pictures of them or whatever of all the students' works and put them in there. And then you tell it, grade all of these papers for me. And Steve, I'm sorry, Steve, it's a D- for you. But I mean, it would grade these things for a teacher. And instead of spending 4 hours, you get it done in 10 minutes. I think it would be an amazing time saver for teachers.
So ChatGPT would be grading my ChatGPT.
That's correct. That would be funny, actually.
You're listening to The Tech Ranch, where technology comes alive. Let's dive back into the conversation with Marlo and Steve. And don't forget to check out thetechranch.com for more.
So I was just going to Fargo, actually, for this AI conference. I was in Valley City, North Dakota, so I went to Fargo the day before because we had some stuff at Grand Farm over there.
Did you blink and
I blinked
too far?
I did not. But you and I think a lot of people are like this, the car has become the best telephone.
It's a workstation.
It's the best thing ever, right? So this time, not one phone call.
Please be safe.
I spent 3 hours talking to ChatGPT.
Really?
So let's see. I started on my book.
So not like people or anything, just you're talking to your computer.
Yes. Just like you and I are talking right now.
Mm-hmm.
Except that the computer generally, I mean, if I want it to be more personal and tell me jokes and things, it will do that too, but you have to kind of prompt it to say, hey,
we have the new voice and
that's exactly right.
That Cajun accent.
Funny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is that it is so easy now. And I think,
we're talking about multitasking, even though you hate that term.
Well, I just did a bunch of stuff on the way over.
Right.
Got some stuff done, worked on a presentation, all of this stuff, all these things that are pending in my life. I just got it done while I was on the road.
It's called multitasking.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I think you have to think about, so first of all, time is valuable to you and me, right?
Extremely. Because we don't have nearly enough of it.
That's correct. I think ChatGPT, the paid version of it is $20 a month. And I think that's the version that allows you to talk to it. I don't know if you get to talk to it for free. I don't know because I've had the paid version since it came out. So I'm assuming, and other people have told me that they don't get to talk to theirs. So first thing I would do, You want a bunch of time back? Pay the $20.
$240 a year buys you how much time back?
Oh, my goodness. Can't even tell you.
Hours.
Hundreds of hours?
Hours a week.
Hundreds
of hours.
I mean, the time, not that I like road tripping because, now it's AC/DC and whatever else.
I used to like
my
road
mobile
tripping.
box.
I'm not a big fan of my wife's in the car anymore.
Okay. Well,
turn the radio off. I'm trying to sleep.
There you go.
Yeah, no.
Well, you can put your headphones on now and talk to ChatGPT if you want, I guess. But I get a lot of stuff done when I'm traveling now because of this. And so that's why I don't know, it just makes my time more productive again. So especially when, and I guess that multitasking really applies here because I'm driving the car and I'm still getting the presentation done. For now. That also will change. My car does some of that already, but as I'm sure yours does.
Okay.
Too. All right. So the first thing is automation of repetitive tasks. I have a list of 7 things that you can use in your personal life and maybe a little blend into work a little bit too that will greatly enhance the ability for you to save a couple hours here and there.
Hold on a second. I got to find some paper.
Okay.
I need to take notes.
All right. Oh, I have an app for that I built with, oh yeah, that's right, AI.
Oh yeah, AI.
Too, and that will be coming out as well.
For $1.99 a month.
The first one is automation of repetitive tasks. So time is the scarcest resource. So you can do things like scheduling meetings, sending reminders, updating information, and generating reports, all with ChatGPT. And the thing is with ChatGPT, the more information you put into it. So if you need a report, let's say on the economic forecast for Burleigh County, right? You could put in all the reports that you could get. You could put in or the information that you have. So you have a report that comes out about the taxes, the sales revenue or sales tax revenue that has come into the county, for example. You could put all of that in there. You could put in the fact that the population has increased this much, there's so many homes. You could put all of that in there, and then it could forecast for you what maybe 10 years from now looks like. How long would that take a staff or 8 to do?
Yeah, or lots of staff.
You give me all that information, which I'm sure I could probably find online, and I put it all in there, and in an hour I would have it done for you and ready for your next meeting.
I like that.
So, and the thing is that instead of tasking people to do this stuff, and they're like, oh, you got to be kidding me, Steve. You want this for your next county commission meeting? They would say,
that's how it'll work. Yeah,
I'll get that done for you. And plus, I can fit that in because it's only going to take an hour of my time or so to do. Might even be fun. Put all this stuff in there and then it spits out this cool report that I get to hand to the county commissioner. I mean, that sounds like fun to me as opposed to compiling all this stuff manually. And then you're thinking, I have my regular job to do here too. How do I get all this stuff done? So it just makes them more efficient with this.
And the one thing with reports, because we get a lot of stuff that comes back across the county commission table or, when it's mayor city commission table, and we'll have the report with all these facts and numbers and data, a lot of data points, and then trying to disseminate that to the public in a way that is A, manageable, and B, understandable sometimes is difficult because if you don't have all the background behind it, somebody that just might be tuning in on public access television to watch a meeting, they're not going to have the backstory. You could make that digestible for the public in a much better fashion by using ChatGPT.
Absolutely.
Okay,
and I know we
talk about ChatGPT a lot.
There's Gemini, there's Notebook.
I was just going to ask you that. There's other platforms.
And I actually prefer Gemini. Actually, I just like this. I like the conversation that I can have with ChatGPT, so that's why I prefer it.
Just like the accents.
Well, that's true. I put a little British accent on her. It's exciting for me.
Cheerio.
Thank you. Let me share my whatever. So, okay, number 2 on the list. So let's just stay with this report now that was spit out to you for forecasting for Burleigh County. Okay, so idea generation and brainstorming. Now you've created this report. You as a county commissioner can take a look at this and go, oh, well, there's this data center that's thinking about locating, outside of Lincoln, North Dakota, right? what does that look like? I mean, we're going to have to build the road into this place. Can you, they're going to employ 80 people. They're going to be using these type of resources. Can you give me a forecast on that? Will that pay for the road? Will that, what kind of economic impact will that have on our county? All this stuff, and bang, just like this, it'll give it to you.
Where I see a big advantage of this, because the one thing I always try to digest and dive into and tear apart a little bit are what are the unintended consequences of every decision made at the table. And that's a lot of legwork. That's a lot of homework. It's like, okay, if you're fixing this problem or doing this, what's it mean to somebody else who may not be involved with this? Or, the unintended consequences of every action. ChatGPT or one of the platforms
and at least
could get you a laundry list of, if this takes place, then this could happen, or this could happen, or this could happen. And if this does this, this could trigger this. And that's what I'm trying to look. That takes a lot of time.
It does. And there's a lot of things that you probably would never think about, because of that. I mean, the increase of traffic on a particular road, all of a sudden they can't move cattle down it, for example. There's just all kinds of things that have unintended consequences that AI can help you with.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. We're thrilled to have you with us as we continue exploring living with technology alongside Marlo and Steve.
So we're reviewing how AI like ChatGPT can help you in your personal life. We've gone through a couple of the 7.
If you have a personal life.
Yeah. You and I probably don't.
Probably not so much.
Our wives put up with us anyway. I'm not really sure why.
Like I said before, I didn't set the bar too high. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Nor should you.
So the first one on there is automation of repetitive tasks and things like reminders, there's just all kinds. I can't even begin to tell you. Everybody's life is different, but you should review what your repetitive tasks are. Like for me, mowing 2 to 3 hours a week was getting a little old for me. So I went out and bought an $800. Actually, I didn't buy it. They sent it to me, but, you just need them to send a Yarbo.
You've seen that new one that's popped.
Yeah.
It does the acreage.
Yes.
It's big
crazy.
scale. Yeah.
And,
I just need the Yarbo because I wanted to take out the garbage and blow the snow off the lawn too.
But you think about that stuff, right? So
sidewalk.
I did some math. I figure I saved anywhere from 80 to 100 hours this summer by having my autonomous mower. So you take that across the $800 it would cost a normal person, right? I mean, even 80 hours of time into $800 is $10 an hour.
So I got a question. So do you have a front yard and a backyard?
I do.
So you got a fence?
Yes.
So can you get it to work by putting in like a doggy door that that can trigger?
You could do that. I've seen people do that. Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know about if it just would trigger for that, but it would push through the doggy door or whatever. But you might get a rabbit or something in your backyard then too.
As long as the dogs don't get out.
I guess that's true, right? And there might be a way you could do that as it's coming up. Maybe you have a little pencil on the end of it, and as soon as it pops that thing, it opens the door up or something. I don't know.
Relocks?
Yeah, relax kind, yeah. That would be
cool.
cool.
Thinking.
Yes. So the second one is idea generation.
Now the program brought to you by Yarbo.
Brainstorming. Got to get that out there.
Yeah.
It helps you generate ideas, brainstorming with somebody. So Steve, as a county commissioner over in Burleigh County in North Dakota, we've been using his county commission status, which is kind of a part-time volunteer job. I guess you get paid a little bit for it.
A little bit.
Probably not enough for the, hours you put in. But again, here we are. I'm giving you ideas now that maybe makes that more possible too, right?
Where I use ChatGPT or Gemini, because my platform, quite often is my calendar. So the difference between being mayor and having somebody who managed your calendar, so I could put in everything in my day, and I knew exactly where I had to be, when I had to be, because there's a lot going on, versus a county commissioner where I don't have somebody keeping my calendar and I have to keep it. That's a place that I use because, like you, a lot of different hats. And integrating those calendars separately into, okay, I just need to look and so where do I need to be? Okay, I need to be doing this job over here at this time and this job 2 hours later over here at this time, and putting all those calendars, because I've got the county schedule, the county meetings, all the county stuff, and then I've got my private sector stuff, and then oh, I got to record with Marlo at so and such a time because we're talking about this and all these different, oh, we got the show at 3:00 or 1 to 4 on Saturday. Putting all those different pieces together, that's where I use the AI a lot. Yeah. And if I didn't have that, because it was a hodgepodge before because of all the different, and you and I have similar schedules. Yours is worse than mine.
I don't think so.
But trying to manage all of that in one place from different platforms is near impossible.
Yeah, it is.
And things would get overlooked or missed.
And even in my life, they still do occasionally. I feel terrible when I miss a meeting. I really try hard not to miss things. But it happens because you're juggling a couple different things. And I try to have a little bit of personal life, and I don't want my personal business and to be out, so my assistant, for example, I mean, she doesn't have to know all of the stuff I have going on. She's for work, right? And I just try to keep those two things separate, but it's difficult sometimes because you might have a meeting personally, like you have a person coming to work on your house or something, and then you miss it because it's not on the calendar, right? Because you become dependent on the darn thing. You don't remember.
If it's not my phone, not on my calendar, it doesn't exist.
I bet you I used to remember 100 phone numbers. I mean, 20 years ago, if somebody asked me what your phone number was, I'd rattle it off. I'd be lucky if I could tell you 3 phone numbers.
I think I know 3.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
I've actually made it a point, like when I get
my grown-up one, I remember one of my best friends from high school because the pattern on the phone. And then you know how long it took me to remember my wife's?
Do you remember it now?
Yes, I do.
Oh, impressive.
Yeah. So 4. I know 4 numbers.
Okay, there you go. I'd probably be in about the same spot.
Yeah.
Well, they just put them in and put them under their name, and that's it. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Or now they just pop up with the identification of who's calling you.
Right. Or you just ask your AI on your phone.
Can add it and
to call Steve Bakken, and it just calls. You don't have to know anything more than that. So have you done this before? Do you plug your phone into your car?
No.
But you talk on it.
Unless I'm charging, yeah.
Okay, so you have Bluetooth connected, but you don't have like Android Auto running on your car or anything like that. Okay. I've actually, and maybe this will work anyway, but I've just said call Brick Oven Bakery in Bismarck, North Dakota, and it will call.
I'm sure that's the number you probably have memorized.
I do not have that number memorized. But it's interesting that
you're your own navigation. It's like you know how to find Brick Oven no matter where you are in town.
It's the beacon that I use. Yeah. Anyway, you're welcome, Brick Oven.
Yeah.
Sandy. I'll be over later for coffee.
Coffee and a cruffin. All right.
I'm more the ham and cheese croissant.
Yes, you are.
I love those things. So, all right. Third on the list is market research. So we were just talking about this, how you could take it to the next level by having this information in a window in ChatGPT, and then you just continue to build on this information that you put in there. So, fourth is assistance in presentation and proposal preparation.
We were just talking about that with Notebook.
Yes. So I was, this AI presentation I was doing in Valley City a week and a half ago. I needed a chart. It gave me some numbers for something. I said, hey, can you make a pie chart out of that? Here you go. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And it was beautiful and wonderful. And I put it in my presentation just like that.
How quickly could you come up with a PowerPoint?
I did all 15 slides in about 15 minutes.
And fully formatted and
all of it.
So this is interesting because there's people that they never got the hang of PowerPoint. And it could be laborious putting a PowerPoint together. Not now.
Yeah, you can just do it right in there. So there's a lot of things that you can do within ChatGPT and other AIs that will really make your life a lot better. And we'll talk about more after the break.
If you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology. The The Tech Ranch.
Supertalk 1270.
This is Outdoor Issues with Neil Roberts and North Dakota Game and Fish outreach biologist Greg Gullickson.
With waterfowl seasons open and duck and goose numbers doing well, conditions of wetlands is always critical. Greg, give us an update.
You know, with the temperature is starting to feel a little bit more like fall, a lot of us that enjoy waterfowl hunting are really interested in heading out to the outdoors. And the North Dakota Game and Fish Department does an annual fall waterfowl survey. And we got a lot of varying conditions out there. The statewide estimate of duck hunting wetlands holding water is about double of last year's estimate. And that's about 30% above a 20-year long-term average. The number of wetlands counted on the survey was the sixth highest since 2003. So things are looking good for us waterfowl hunters. A lot more information available on the Game and Fish Department website.
Good stuff, Greg. And hey, we'll have more on waterfowl when we come back.
Vets for Vets. Let me tell you what that means. They offer individual and group peer support services tailored just for veterans and their families. Whether you're newly separated from the military service or have been navigating civilian life for years, they are here to help. Visit us at 720 Western Avenue Southwest of Minot or check out our website at peervisionnd.org/Vets for Vets. Remember, you are not alone. Vets for Vets Minot, supporting those who serve.
I just wanna wrap you up.
This star will shine bright and light up the night at Sky Dancer Casino and Resort.
Make you feel wanted.
It's platinum selling artist Hunter Hayes, November 2nd. Tickets are available online. Hunter Hayes, November 2nd at Sky Dancer Casino and Resort.
Talking waterfowl on Outdoor Issues today, and a couple keys, of course, if you are a hunter, or weather conditions and migration. When is the best time, Greg, to hunt waterfowl in North Dakota?
You know what, Neil? I get this question all the time. The best time is the day before we get that final freeze. But the quality of waterfowl hunting in North Dakota is determined a lot by weather. Those migration patterns that happen across the state. We have those teal that migrate out early. We have that big influx of snow geese that come through later in the year. But it looks to be another great year in North Dakota for waterfowl hunters.
All right, good stuff as always, Greg. Thanks for that. And that will bring this report to a close. If you missed one, check us on the website, OutdoorIssues.com. Till next time, I'm Neil Roberts.
You've been listening to Outdoor Issues, brought to you in part by Vets for Vets, by Sky Dancer Casino and Resort, where the sky's the limit. And enjoy a home-cooked meal at Homesteaders in Minot.
From America's #1 travel radio show, I'm Robert Carey with today's edition of your RM World Travel Minute. Just as Mary said to all of you yesterday, aloha from Maui. We're traveling here all this week for the big Let's Go America Tour Maui 2024. And as happens on every one of these trips we take with the show, we'll culminate with a live national broadcast of the 2-hour weekend version of our popular travel program on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern Time. So plan to join us and experience a bit of the Maui magic that we're going to be sharing that hopefully entices you to come enjoy this truly beautiful island that we love so much. If the ocean waters here don't relax and rejuvenate you from one of the 80 or so beaches, there may not be hope for you. Hiking or biking is also something we encourage. The changes in temperatures as you enter the different elevations, it's invigorating. And the fruits on Maui, folks, oh my God, they are second to none. We'll also share the place you can get the best cookie you'll likely ever eat during our Saturday show, and they can even ship them straight to your home. So be sure to follow all of our travels this week on our RM World Travel social media channels. Mary will share more with you from Maui tomorrow.
Yeah, they'll wait there with your finger on the button, waiting for the DJ to play your favorite song, and then you recorded it. Well, that's not as good a quality. Right. Just like going from an album to a cassette, not as good a quality. So it degrades every generation.
Mm-hmm. It does. With albums, I've only done a few so far, and I think it does a fairly good job of maintaining the quality. But when I'm doing a cassette tape, the player head picks up a lot of hiss because it's listening to the tape move through as well. So you got the sound, plus you had that background hiss. So whenever I get like a tape hiss, I will filter out that noise just because it improves the listenability of the underlying song. But whenever it's somebody's memories, or I do a reel-to-reel tape or something like that, I leave it alone unless there's something really, really wrong with the recording that needs me to maybe either make it louder or softer, or if there's just a really bad background noise that just is going to make the listening to it painful.
Well, pain to one person is a little subjective.
Yeah.
Depends on what you're listening to. So how does that work with the video side of things? So when you're looking at going from one medium to another, because I don't know on the video side as much because I'm an audio guy. I'm in broadcasting and the music side of things. So I know how that responds going from generation to generation to generation. How does that work with film or pictures or things that people are trying to preserve on the video side of things?
Well, the VHS, I think sometimes the audio is the first to go on those. I don't have a lot of experience on the audio side because it just digitizes everything for me, video and audio together. And then I notice it mainly when if somebody's recorded a movie or it's directly on a camcorder, you're going to get some situations where the audio is not really good. Like people recorded a wedding and they set up their camera right next to the organist. So I hear all the music.
No, don't do that.
And then I can't hear the
I do's and
the officiant. So that I can go in and I can adjust the decibels on a piece-by-piece basis so I can get the volume where it needs to be so you can actually hear what's going on and you don't get blasted out by the organist. So I can do that. Most of the editing programs I have, I can adjust the audio and the video separately. I did have one, we use Wondershare, and in the latest version, they actually have an AI speech enhancer where if it's a section of audio that's being spoken, it'll go in there and it'll try to clean it up and make it more intelligible. My experience has been using it on a few different tapes where they interviewed their father, and this is like his historical interview, and it's been 30 years since he interviewed me. He's passed away, and they want to preserve this memory. I found that it makes the spoken, it does a lot to get rid of that background hiss and that noise so I can actually hear the audio, but it garbles up what was spoken.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't think the AI is 100% perfect. I did that with another file. Adobe has a free sound enhancer program that you can just upload a file and it'll try to clean it up and make all the things clean. I ran a snippet of a Subway commercial through it because I wanted it for Avocado Day. And it got rid of the background music. It's like, I need that. That's part of the commercial.
Talk of the town. Local, interesting. A lot of things going on with flood insurance in the Bismarck, Mandan area, and some things you need to know concerning the Missouri River and some changes that have taken place. And, well, are you even going to be able to get flood insurance? Community events. Home Builders Association Parade of Homes going on. Started yesterday. We'll get the update on that as well this weekend on Supertalk 1270. Community organizations. FC Bakken along with Sarah Kelsch from the Bismarck Cancer Center. But I want to talk about the mission and where the mission has gone for those that are served that are dealing with the cancer fight. What's going on in our community? That's Talk of the Town on Supertalk 1270. If you missed the show, check out the podcast on demand on the Supertalk 1270 mobile app.
Talk of the Town thanks our sponsors: Big Boy, Dakota Pharmacy, Benchmark Mortgage, Trademark Realty, Silver Ranch, and Runnings. Talk of the Town with Steve Bakken, Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 on Supertalk 1270 and the free Supertalk 1270 mobile app.
KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a town square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union Studio.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Fresh strikes today by Israeli forces in Lebanon, and tensions are rising in the Middle East. ABC's Inez de la Quatara is in Tel Aviv.
The violence on Israel's northern border is continuing. Hezbollah today firing at least 7 rounds of rockets at Israel, hitting some northern Israeli communities. There was impact reported in at least 2 northern communities on residential buildings. And we are now just 2 days away from the 1-year anniversary of October 7th. People here worried that we could be on the brink of an all-out regional war.
In Pennsylvania today, former President Donald Trump holding a rally in Butler at the site of July's assassination attempt against him. Vice President Kamala Harris is in North Carolina to tour damage from Hurricane Helene. 220 people have died in the southeast. And now Florida bracing for Tropical Storm Milton, expected to reach hurricane strength in the Gulf and make landfall sometime next week. This is ABC News. A warning, if you're looking to improve your smile, authorities are urging you to consult an actual dentist, not someone on social media. ABC's Brian Clark has more on one man facing charges after performing dental work that he wasn't qualified to provide.
Authorities are sounding the alarm on so-called veneer techs who offer a full set of veneers for significantly less than what a dentist charges. Law enforcement in Georgia arrested Brandon Diller Thursday. He had more than 150,000 Instagram followers and billed himself as Atlanta's top veneer specialist, but authorities say he was really practicing dentistry without a license. Trained dentists say improper veneer procedures can lead to a range of health problems. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Fans are mourning the loss of former Detroit Lions quarterback and assistant coach Greg Landry. The NFL team announced his death on social media Friday. The New England native started with the Lions in 1968. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Oh, honey, it's our favorite leaf filter trusted pro, Matt. Matt, come in.
Hi, Mrs. Sparks. You wanted me to stop by? Is everything okay with your leaf filter gutter protection system?
Okay. Of course, silly. We wanted you to stop by for dinner as our way of thanking you.
Yes, to thank you for that free gutter inspection, the free estimate, and what was the other thing?
That lifetime guarantee.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Sparks, those are just Leaf Filter's policies. Everyone who calls Leaf Filter gets a trusted pro to come out for a free gutter inspection and estimate. And every Leaf Filter installation comes with a lifetime guarantee.
So it's not just us?
No, sir. We don't want anyone to worry about clogged gutters ever again.
You mean everyone gets this level of service?
Everyone. They just need to visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule their free inspection.
Okay, but you must be starving. You work so hard.
Ready to love your gutter protection as much as we do? Visit leaffilter.com/radio and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount.
Supertalk 1270, Bismarck area weather.
With your forecast, I'm Corey Hartman. A high wind warning today. Also high fire danger. Winds will gust over 45 miles per hour out of the west. We'll have mostly sunny skies with a high near 68. For tonight, mostly clear and windy, a low of 38, sunny and 63 Sunday. Grandpa's barbecue sauce is perfect for grilling any time of the year. Pick it up at grandpa'sbbqshop.com. Currently 69 degrees.
From ABC Sports, I'm Joey Waller. Right now, baseball divisional series opener, bottom six in Cleveland. Guardians up 5-0 on the Tigers. A 5-run first, knocking out Tyler Holton in that opening inning. Lane Thomas, a 3-run homer. Tanner Beebe out after 4+ shutout innings for Cleveland. Meanwhile, Padres-Dodgers tonight. Huge blow for San Diego. Starter Joe Musgrove, season-ending Tommy John surgery. Manager Mike Schilt reacting.
He's a special individual, but I can tell you we'll be just fine and compete. You know, he'll be in our hearts, but he won't be with us on the mound.
Elsewhere, Cowboys receiver Brandon Cooks to injured reserve with a knee injury, out the next 4 games. College football right now. Fourth quarter scores. Penn State handling UCLA 27-3. Texas A&M crushing Missouri 41-7. Le'Veon Moss 3 touchdown runs. SMU at Louisville tied at 27. Wisconsin busting Purdue 52-6. Virginia coming back on Boston College 24-14. Pittsburgh leading at North Carolina 31-24. NC State with a comeback leading 30-20 against Wake Forest. That behind backup quarterback C.J. Bailey for starter Grayson McCall, who was knocked out. Navy leading at Air Force big, 34-7, and Army rolls at Tulsa, 49-7 the final. The Black Knights rise to 5-0. Earlier, Devils sweep both games in their NHL season-opening Global Series against the Sabres in the Czech Republic.
The Devils clear the puck. It's Jack Hughes. One man back. Gives it now to Cotter. Cuts in. He scores!
Paul Cotter, that deciding third-period goal. Devils radio during their 3-1 win. NFL in London tomorrow. Comebacking quarterback Sam Darnold leads those 4-0 Vikings against his ex-team, the Jets.
You know, I'm not really thinking about that, to be honest. You know, a lot of new faces over there.
Darnold with 11 touchdown passes, just 3 picks. New York 2-2. Joey Waller, ABC Sports.
Not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Meet Brian. He just got $5,000, and it was pretty easy. I'll tell you how in 10 seconds. Brian needed cash help. After being rejected by banks, he tried 27cash.com. Told them how much he needed, even let them know he had bad credit. In minutes, 27cash.com found a lender who deposited $5,000 into his bank account the very next day. If you need cash help, even if you have bad credit, go to 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We need cash help.
We should go to 57cash.com.
With our bad credit?
57cash.com helps all credit types. They partner with over 100 lenders to help even people with bad credit get approved for up to $10,000. And cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
Wow. When you need cash help, go to 57cash.com. 57cash.com.
Talk of the Town with Steve Bakken. Weekday mornings starting at 9 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
And if you're just joining us, we are talking about how AI, ChatGPT, Gemini.
How many are there now?
There's a lot. Hundreds. They're becoming really niche-y. That's what they're doing. So I feel like they're using like the power of OpenAI. And you can do this, by the way. We could create one for the Tech Ranch, for example. It would be its own. We would have our own AI powered by OpenAI, which is what powers ChatGPT. You create an API right to it, and then you have your own little.
And why have we not done this? Oh, wait a minute. You're busy. Okay.
It costs money to do those things.
Well, yeah.
Know? Something that I don't have. Can you borrow me some money? I'd be happy to build it then.
If we were brought to you by Yarbo.
Oh, you're right. I forget about that all the time.
Sponsorships, yeah.
We could be like a PBS program here.
We could.
We do not get paid for this.
We don't get paid.
We should probably.
Brought to you by.
So anybody who's out there, I think
the letters M and A.
Yeah.
And the number 2.
Wasn't that a Sesame Street thing I used to do? This program is being brought to you by
the letter
Z.
Yeah.
For zucchini.
Yes.
That's funny. That would be hilarious. I love that.
Oh, another segment. All right.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Next on the list, data analysts and insights.
Okay, before you get into that, I do have to say, I recently went to Gordon Center National Dog Show in Michigan with my wife, and we were going through Menominee, Wisconsin.
Menominee, one of my favorite places.
So as we're going, my wife had never heard the Menomina song from the Muppets.
Did you share it with her?
I did. She hates me to this day.
Did you get?
Because everything's a Menomina. Well, how many cities have a song on the Muppets? Just for them.
They don't.
Well,
you're right.
The city of Menominee, Wisconsin actually came up with a whole marketing strategy off of that Muppet show with the Menomina song. Menomina, Menomina. It's animal.
I can understand why she was getting frustrated with you.
Why?
Because every time she tried to speak, you would go, Menomina.
Well, it was kind of funny because she'd be having a conversation with somebody and all of a sudden be like, Menomina song. And I go, Menomina. It's kind of, okay.
Did you pick up any generic beer while you were there?
No, I didn't.
Have you seen? I think it's Wisconsin. I think Michigan has it too. It's just a white can with black letters that says beer on it.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah. It's hilarious. And that you can buy those over there. So. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. And once it's in your head, nope.
Mana. This is Oscar that sings this?
No, Animal.
Oh, Animal, that's right. It's the perfect song for Animal.
Yeah, the cows just don't get it. But that's the monotonous. Like this entire city's got a song for their own marketing. But it's amazing when it's stuck in your head and you're driving around and other names and cities and places and words, and you can put a lot of stuff into them.
You can.
And I had
obviously
too much spare time in a 16-hour drive. I'm just saying, throwing that out there.
So, if you wanted to create a marketing campaign for Bismarck or Lincoln or Burleigh County
using the song, you could.
You could analyze that, and then Gemini, ChatGPT would actually come up with a marketing plan.
I'm going to play with that later.
Fun. Yeah, that's funny.
Do the Swedish Chef one too.
Next on the list.
There's a list?
Yes. Project planning and tracking. So this to me is where one of the places where artificial intelligence shines in personal life. You're cleaning the garage. So you could stand, I'm only picking on this because I'm doing this right now. I could stand in the middle of the garage.
I'm fighting it.
It's that time of year.
I'm fighting it.
Stand in the middle of the garage.
What do you mean you want to park your car during the winter? No, we don't do it. That's not what a garage is for.
That's what the street's for.
Yeah.
Let them move snow around you.
And I try to validate it with my wife because we don't have a floor drain in the garage. And I'm like, and then all this ice and snow and stuff, and I got to clean it up. You don't clean it up. So just leave it out there. It'll be fine.
Yes.
Doesn't
work that way.
I'll be cleaning the garage shortly.
So anyway, you could stand in the middle of the garage. You could turn ChatGPT on. You could talk to it and say, hey, I need to clean this. I need to fix that window over there. I need to paint the door, blah, 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 blah. Can you create a to-do list or task list for me to do this? And then boom, 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 it does.
Or how can I organize? So can you do it with a photo or shoot a video?
Absolutely.
And then go, okay, how do I better organize this space?
It would do that.
And it would.
I have actually taken a picture of ingredients in my fridge and said, what can I make with this?
There's a TV commercial that does that with the refrigerator. Verizon or T-Mobile, one of the phone companies.
Yeah.
And it's about broken phones, bring your phone in, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it comes back and it's got the Gemini.
But think about
how do I make a recipe with this? Because it's the guy and his daughter. How do I make a recipe with these ingredients that are sitting on his counter? And boom, pops up this great recipe.
Yep.
They chef it up.
Think of all the things in your life that could be better if you could just manage them with a task list with AI. You have a child's birthday coming up. You have your son's 5th birthday coming up, or you have your daughter's wedding coming up, or maybe you yourself are getting married. You can talk to ChatGPT. You can say, I am getting married next December, and this is what I want to, this is where I want to get married, blah, blah, blah. And it will actually start to create, have you called these people to verify this thing? And when you get it done, you just talk to ChatGPT again and say, hey, I called. They said, yes, we have this place. This is what I want to have for dinner. These are the caterers I'm going to work with. Boom. It just starts putting this whole thing together for you. And you just boom, 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 right down the list. And it'll work with you. And maybe even come up with things that you should be doing.
And you're familiar with mnemonic tools and tricks, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Phenomena.
Yeah. So if you put it in the Phenomena song, you'll always remember it. That is brilliant. And by the way, put it in the Phenomena song. You'll remember it. It's like, I'll have my list memorized.
Bakken like the oil field. Phenomena.
Phenomena. You gotta do it like Animal.
Phenomena. So there is that as far as project planning and tracking, and it's an excellent tool to really organize your life. So I would highly recommend it.
No, the video side, that's the interesting part. If you can take a picture of the space.
So I've done pictures. Yeah. We'll get into that next. So I don't know so much about videos yet, but I'm sure that's coming. But pictures for sure.
And we're back with the Tech Ranch. Get ready for more amazing tech insights from the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
So we're going through the ways that AI can help you in your personal life. If you haven't been following us.
You'll have to use that instead of Howard next time.
Yeah, Manamana. That's true. I will have to do that. You will have to listen earlier about the Howard reference, by the way. So, by the way, you can catch this show as a podcast.
Yes.
We should probably remind people that. So if you're catching like the third hour, if you hop onto Spotify or even just go to Supertalk 1270, they have a place that you can just click on and listen to the whole show. And today's show, I would highly recommend that because this has been a good show. If you want to know how to learn how to use AI in your life.
Brought to you by the Manamana song.
And Yarbo. Oh no, and the letters what? M and A.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something right before we went to break about taking pictures.
Yeah, because the picture side is one thing, and you can upload that into artificial intelligence, into the AI platforms, and work with that as a medium right now. But the video aspect, because so if you're space planning or cleaning your garage or, my garage is always a mess. What do I need to do? It's like, how can I do something different? Just take a video of the space and go, okay, help me organize this better. Help me be more efficient with this. And by the way, my wife would really like to park a car in here.
So I don't know if you could upload it. In fact, I know you can't upload a video yet in ChatGPT, but you can take a series of photos.
Right. You can go
boom,
click,
boom,
click,
boom,
click,
boom,
click,
take a 360 of your
and you could do that on your camera phone.
So you could do that, or you can just take a series of 4 or 5 photos and just drop them into ChatGPT as well. So first of all, it's amazing what it knows, right? So if you don't even really need like the plant identifier anymore, or any of those type of things. And I'll give you an example. So the Mandan Hill, you're right, in Mandan, North Dakota. You know what I'm talking about, Crying Hill, where this says Mandan on the side.
M-A, big N, big D. And, yeah.
Brought to you by
Yarbo.
So it had become...
Because how do you mow that hill?
Well, there's that. And
you need a Yarbo.
If you've gone by it recently, it's mowed.
Did you bring your mower over?
Didn't bring the mower over.
Okay.
Bobcat did.
With one of their autonomous.
They have been using the Mandan Hill as a place to test some of their new equipment. It's amazing how good of a job it did. I'm serious. I mean, there were trees. It's been 11 years since that space has been worked on, and I won't get into all the dynamics of it because it's a long, involved story. But now the city of Mandan has permission to actually improve the space. So they're doing that, and so Bobcat came over and did that hill. So we went up there as we were working on it. So I took Logan. Logan and I went up there and we flew a drone over the top of it and got all kinds of footage. So we had that going on. And then I didn't know what all these trees were. I thought they were ash, but I really wasn't sure because they're young, right? So I took some pictures, and sure enough, it identified it. It also identified the disease, or elms. I mean, they're elms. And it also identified that they're starting to suffer from Dutch elm disease, and these trees should be removed before it impacts other trees in the area. And I'm like, oh my goodness, isn't that amazing? Just like that. So then I've taken it, and there's so many things you can do with this. The translator side of it, right? So Alice and I are in Paris a couple weeks ago, and I'm looking at this menu, and I don't speak French, so I took a picture of it, put it into ChatGPT, and bang, just like this, it was all translated to English. And I could now tell which one was the cheeseburger and the French, or the fish soup and the snails. So I knew what I was ordering. Give me number 2, please.
A Royale with cheese.
Yes.
That's the Big Mac, right?
That was the, I don't know.
Try to remember my Pulp Fiction line.
Yeah, I don't know. So when you don't
know why it's called that and not a quarter pounder with cheese?
I don't.
Metric system.
Oh, that makes sense.
No such thing as a quarter pounder with cheese.
That's true.
France or in Europe.
Interesting.
So it's a Royale with cheese. That's a quarter pounder.
They'll have the Big Mac over there.
Yeah.
Because it's not related to a size.
Yeah.
Well, kind of anyway.
Yeah.
So the other thing would be, so back to your garage analysis, right? You're working on a project and you really don't know what to do next, right? You can take a picture of it and say, this is the issue I have going on with this. Can you give me some suggestions on how to fix this? And it will give you suggestions.
Now, if we can get it to do it with my autonomous robot for me, so I could watch the game on the TV in the garage while the garage is getting cleaned. Be onto something there.
So there's just so many things that you can do by uploading photos. I took a picture of my granddaughter, Ellie, who loves to play soccer, right? And I said, all right, stand and do a pose like you're about ready to kick a soccer ball. And so she's standing there, and I took a picture of her. And then I told ChatGPT to use this as a template, use Ellie as a template, and use this image, and then create a new image showing that she's kicking a ball into a soccer goal. And guess what it did?
New image of her kicking a ball into a soccer goal.
That's correct. So there are just so many things that you can do. And if you give it some information, like taking a picture of my granddaughter Ellie, for example, or your plant or whatever it is, it can identify it. It can use it as a template to create new images. It can tell you, you take a picture of a plant. You don't know what it is. How often am I supposed to water this? Well, you should water it once a week.
Okay, that brings up a great question then. So there's an app for that.
That's correct.
There's a lot of apps. There's a lot of apps. There's an app for that.
Yes.
So AI, why do I need the app?
That's correct.
So I don't need to pay for this plant app to identify tree species, weeds. What kind of grass do I have? Should I have a more drought resistant lawn?
Yeah, and the other thing is that AI is actually looking at
the app.
It's not just taking the information. Steve, you built the app for this plant identification program and the ways to, take care of the plant or whatever, right? It's just you, right? AI isn't just you. It's many different types of sources that have come together, and it will most likely give you the best recommendation on how to care for that plant. And it'll identify the disease it has and what you could do about it. So, yeah.
Bust out the chainsaw.
Yeah.
Case of those elms. Which is sad.
And then you take it to the next level, right? I could actually open up ChatGPT right now and say, hey, somebody's suffering a heart attack right in front of me here. What do I do?
Call 911.
Well, it'll say that first, and then it'll say, this is how you do chest compressions. This is how you give mouth to mouth, and it'll talk you through these things.
Staying alive.
So it's amazing what's possible, and it's truly life-saving as well. So it's
how many different songs are there for doing chest compressions?
I think Staying Alive is
that's kind of the big one.
It is the big one, yeah.
There's like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You've returned to the Tech Ranch, where technology is our passion. Let's jump back into the conversation with Marlo and Steve.
So we've been going through a list of how AI can help you in your personal space, and we've gone through 6 of them so far. We're up to number 7 now, and probably, in my opinion, the most important one. We all deal with legal issues. Maybe everybody deals with them at some degree or another. Where you're buying something, you want a review of the agreement. You might have had something more.
Are we going down the EULA road?
EULA, that's right. A little bit. But the problem that everybody has with this stuff is the length of these agreements.
Oh, laboriously long.
And then you look at this.
Nobody reads them.
Well,
they can't.
And you're like, all right, the person across from me, I don't think they want to take advantage of me. Not 100% sure, but they seem genuine about what we're doing here. So, all right, I'm going to trust them and sign off on this, right? And then after the fact, you find out that the warranty, was for 50,000 miles on your car, but not for fixing the push-button ignition. Oh, my goodness, are you serious? That was only 2,000 miles or whatever it is.
Right.
So what the wonderful thing about things like ChatGPT can be great for is a quick review of these type of things. You're buying a house, you're buying a car, you got a warranty over here, you have instructions on how to assemble something or whatever, right? And you and I have dealt with this too. You get these instructions and they're like, did somebody know how to speak Chinese at the plant and they're the ones that wrote this? Because it makes no sense, right? You can drop those instructions into ChatGPT and it'll make sense of it and actually give you a step-by-step on how to assemble a piece of furniture or whatever it is you're doing. So there is so much.
Brought to you by IKEA.
Can be done with this. And for the time that it takes you to take a PDF, or if and a lot of these agreements have PDFs already, to upload them into a ChatGPT or Gemini and say, I am buying this car. Can you review all of this and tell me what I should be looking out for, like you would be buying the car? And you just tell it that, pretend that you are the one buying the car and what I should be concerned with. And it'll pop back and say, well, you have a 50,000 mile warranty, but not on the ignition system. There's only an 8,000 mile warranty on that or whatever it is, right? So these are things that you can bring up. And it can even analyze, like, what you're paying for. You could take a picture, how they have all those charges they add onto stuff?
Mm-hmm.
You could take a picture of that, drop it in there, and it'll come back and say, what is this for? You're paying $800 for what?
What's a doc fee?
Yeah, what is that? And then they could explain it to you or whatever. And you could even, this would be really interesting. You could even turn ChatGPT on and to the person who's doing the finance agreement with you or whatever, and let them explain it to ChatGPT and then have it represent you as, ask, you could tell ChatGPT to ask the questions that it would need so that everybody has a better understanding about what this is. And I'm telling you, it can actually be that third party. I'm not saying that it would take the place of an attorney, but it could at least help you in these places where you wouldn't normally get an attorney.
You're not going to have an attorney when you go buy a car.
No, you're not. But wouldn't it be nice to feel better about the transaction after you're done?
Well, and hopefully you're going to a reputable dealership that's going to have their customers' best interests at heart, because what that does, it provides an entirely other level of transparency. It's like, well, hey, I'm just going to hide this in the EULA, or I'm going to hide this in wherever, and it'll sniff it out for you.
Yeah. And you could take this to so many other things. How many times have you got a credit card offer in the mail and you're like, well, that's interesting. Maybe I should get this credit card and do this other one instead.
It's been a long time because I just don't.
I get them all the time.
Yeah, I know. Like, but if you answer them, then you get them more.
I suppose. Or you use them a lot, and I do. So anyway, so you could take a picture of the offer and then compare it and say, all right,
is this legit?
Yeah, is it legit? Am I? And they'll come back and say, well, yeah, if you want to move if you want to move your balances over here, but it's going to cost you 4% to do that or whatever, because that's in the fine print that you wouldn't catch until after the fact.
Well, just from a consumer perspective, being able to compare and contrast, because how many times have you gone to one store and go, oh, hey, that looks like a good deal, but I wonder if it's cheaper over at that other store that I frequent. For example, I'll do that between Sam's Club and Costco quite often. Okay, well, if you can't find it online, I'm going to be at the store in a couple days anyway, I'll go check that out. You can do all that with artificial intelligence. The AI can, hey, find me the best deal wherever this is, locally, online, whatever, and it'll bring you those top offers. Boom, done. So imagine you're shopping for interest rates because you're going to buy a car or a home mortgage, or I'm just thinking of, and you and I have talked a lot about the jobs that will be created, but some of the jobs that potentially could go away. Why do I need a mortgage lender? I could have my AI shop all this and do the title work, and
I guarantee you that's going on already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to do it. They're starting to do all of that.
Well, I know title companies are using AI.
Yeah.
You're foolish not to.
It just speeds up the process. Laborious processes that people don't want to do anyway. And it allows them, I don't think it's replacing the job. It's just allowing them to maybe do their jobs better.
Now, I'll say this, so with the title side of things and using that as an example, and I would assume the title companies are using that to truncate the process because it's like, oh, okay, hey, 90 days till closing. But why? there's a lot of missing steps in there because, well, you got to wait for the appraisal. You got to wait for the inspection. You got to wait for this. So there's other things that are constraining what could be, hey, by the end of the week, you get to move into your new house.
Exactly.
So
there's other things.
Yeah.
I think the other thing too is like on the health side of things, right? So, we're in a scenario now where it's probably more unusual to eat at home than go out for dinner, right? I think more and more people are just go out now, and opposed to when I grew up and we did it once a year. It's just amazing how it's changed. But if you're on
maybe Christmas Eve, if the dog ate the turkey,
there you go. Yes, then you'd have to go.
Chinese for everybody. Yep.
But you can. Let's say you're on let's say you're trying to limit your carbs, for example, and you're going out to dinner. You can take a picture of the menu and ask ChatGPT to say, "Hey, I'm I'm trying to reduce my carbs. What are the best choices on this menu?" If you're not, I don't know anything about this stuff, so it would.
That doesn't work for me because when I go out to eat, it's not. My wife is like, she yells at me all the time. It's like, get a salad. No, I can have a salad at home.
Right.
I go out to eat for the experience.
And I understand that, but
and the flavor and the taste and things I can't cook at home.
People are eating out for convenience sake now too, so this would help you with that.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. Let's get back to discovering the latest in technology with the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
So in other fun news, we've been talking about AI a lot, but we're going to use AI right now. So there's a comment this week in that chat, or that Steve was just sharing.
80,000 years.
Yep. All right.
We've been waiting for this comment.
So ChatGPT, how you doing?
Thanks for asking. How about you? How's your day?
I'm doing great. So you're on the air on the Tech Ranch with Steve Bakken and myself, Marlo Anderson. So we're talking about the comment this weekend. 2023 / can you pronounce that for us, please?
Sure. It's pronounced Nishimura. Comet Nishimura was quite a sight to see. It's always exciting when...
So ChatGPT, I don't think that's the correct one. What's it say there?
C/2023 A3.
Got it. It's C-2023 A3. Comets are named based on the year they're discovered, followed by a letter indicating the half month of the discovery, and a number indicating the order of discovery. The A stands for the first half of January. So C-2023 A3 is a comet discovered in the first half of January 2020.
So do you have the working name for this? It starts with the letter T, but we are unable to pronounce it. Do you know how to pronounce it?
The comet's name starting with T that you're referring to is likely Tsuchinshan. It's named after the observatory where it was discovered, the Purple Mountain Observatory in China, which is also known as Tsuchinshan.
That's it.
Very good. Thank you, ChatGPT.
Actually, that's /-atlas is what it is.
So there you go.
Yeah, I had no idea how to pronounce that.
So that's viewable tonight?
Yeah, this weekend.
Okay.
It's visible. So
does it talk about what part of the sky you need to look at?
Comet appearing as a faint star-like smudge trailed by a hazy tail should be visible just before dawn on 4 consecutive mornings, Friday morning through Monday morning. So,
okay.
But it doesn't say which orientation in the sky.
So ChatGPT, where in the sky should we be looking for this comet?
To spot the comet, you'll want to look towards the constellation Draco, which is visible in the northern sky. Draco is near the Big Dipper, so finding that first can help guide you. Comet Nishimura is expected to be visible with binoculars or a small telescope. Best time to observe it is in the early morning, just before dawn.
So what about the other comet we were talking about, Chichuimu?
The comet you're referring to is C/2023 P1 Nishimura. Japanese terrestrial.
Yeah, that is not the comet we were referring to earlier. So everybody
that was the first one.
That was the first one. Yeah. What's the second comet that we were talking about?
Shushinshan Atlas. Yeah, Shushinshan.
Yes. The comet you're referring to might be C/2023 Tsuchinshan Atlas. It's a comet discovered by the Purple Mountain Observatory in China, also known as Tsuchinshan, and the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System. It's predicted to be quite bright and might put on a good show in the sky.
So where do we look in the sky to see this?
To spot comet C/2023 A3 Tsuchinshan Atlas, you'll want to look towards the constellation Serpens. This constellation is best visible in the northern hemisphere. You may need a telescope for a better view as it gets closer and brighter. The best time to observe it will be around its closest approach to the sun and Earth. Always check the latest skywatching updates for precise details.
All right. We're not going to get ChatGPT to tell us, but the northern part of the sky anyway.
Right.
So,
well, actually, if you notice, two different constellations.
Yeah.
Both near the Big Dipper, but reference two different constellations.
Yeah. So I'll check it out tonight, actually. I hope the sky is clear and I'll get out there, and I'm a big celestial fan.
Well, actually, just get up early in the morning and do it.
So it's actually best early in the morning.
Yeah, right before sunup.
So, which is what, 7:35 now or something?
Yeah.
I've noticed that it's just getting
dark way too late now.
Every day. I used to get, in the summertime, I love getting up to the sun, and now that's not happening anymore.
Well, you just got to get up later now.
Well, yeah, that's true.
You get to sleep in, Marlo.
And I get to go to bed earlier. Yeah. Wow, this is great.
Yeah, I don't like longer, darker days.
I don't either.
Not a fan.
No, I'm not either. But that's what we're headed to right now.
So, did you have an outage with your phone earlier this week?
So
on Monday?
Yeah, it was. Wasn't it Verizon?
Verizon.
So you're a Verizon
outage. Yeah.
And did you hear what that was about? Or
I did not have an outage. My wife did.
You're on the same plan, right?
We are, and that was the weird thing about it.
Wow.
Because she had no service, and I was good to go.
Is she Apple and you Droid, or
she's Apple and I'm Android? And I never heard the difference between the two. So Verizon basically came out with a statement. Then it was kind of the upper Midwest is where a lot of the outage was, but about 100,000 outages nationwide, and they were working to fix it, but apparently there was a down detector error, blah, blah, blah. So
sounds like Danger Will Robin.
Yeah, it was a technology.
Yeah.
Oops.
Like usual.
Yeah.
Nobody hacked it, or it wasn't a terror attack or a terrorist attack. Okay.
No, but a lot of people, their SOS mode on and off was displaying, and so yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, so the SOS would work, but the regular phone service didn't.
Okay. But SOS or SMS?
SOS.
Okay. So save our skins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know we had an
Monday
SOS.
was kind of crazy, though. It's like my wife didn't call me once all day. Oh, speaking of last Monday, the other...
It was crazy. She didn't call me all day.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. The other big news was, did you see the purchase of DirecTV is going through, buying Dish and Sling?
Yes. You had mentioned this earlier
streaming
week. So
yeah.
So it's basically
about the streaming. They want Sling.
Because the satellite network business is pretty much dead in the water now.
Right.
I mean, there are a few people that still have it.
But it's about the streaming. It is. And I noticed last weekend, before I heard about the sale going through, that there were a lot of ads popping up for DirecTV, and hey, we got this new thing coming, and you can take us anywhere. You can stream.
Jay had I was at Jay Leno last weekend, and he had a great joke, which I guess I'll have to share with you next week, everybody. So come on back.
And that's a wrap on another fantastic episode of the Tech Ranch. Remember, if you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology.